The first step is to remove the trim panel. And you can see we're taking the screws out around the periphery of the panel. The service manual will show you exactly how to do this if you'd like to read that. The screws are captive. They won't fall out. And that's what we're going after, those guides right there on the scanner. We'll have to remove these small trim pieces here before the main trim piece will come out. Now just lift the trim piece directly forward, and it comes out. It's recommended that you rotate the scanner so that the AST playhead is towards the guides. That will kind of protect it, and then put a piece of tape on the scanner to prevent it from rotating. We've got 3 connections we have to unplug. Just pull them straight down. And then we have a screw that attaches a connector to a board on the scanner. We'll have to remove that screw, and there's one on the other side also. Now we can just pry that connector up and remove it from the scanner. There are 3 screws that attach the scanner to the transport plate. You can see one there, and one at the top. And be careful not to drop the screws into the scanner. I've done that before. So now you can slowly and carefully pull the scanner out and disconnect the air hose that is used for the scanner guides. Sometimes they're kind of sticky and hard to pull off. Now you can continue to pull the scanner out, and you'll have to disconnect 2 connections in the back. They're the type that you just squeeze and pull, and the connection comes off. And now here is the scanner on the workbench, and these are the 2 guides we'll have to remove from the scanner. Each of the guides has 3 screws, and we use a hex for these guys. Again, be careful with those little washers. It should be a regular flat washer and a lock washer for each of the little bolts. Pull the holes off, and the scanner should be released. Now this is a longer bolt that goes into the smaller scanner in the very front. Try to keep those separate, or keep that one separate, because that goes in that only one spot. Okay, so now we'll just pull the hose off of the smaller scanner guide. And there it's gone. Okay, here are the bolts, and you notice that one at the very, very end at the top. That's the one that's longer than the others, and that one has to go in the front of the smaller guide. There you can see the larger guide and the smaller guide. And if we look real close at the guides, you'll see the very tiny holes that we want to make sure are clean. Ampex recommends using Alkanox, as a cleaner or detergent for the guides. You mix it in water, and the server's manual has a reference to using this chemical. Be sure to mix the alkanox very well. It doesn't dissolve that easily, and you don't want to have little particles floating around to get caught inside the scanner guides. So place the scanners in the alkanox, and it's a precision detergent. It does a very good job at cleaning these very small holes. So let them soak for 15 minutes or so, and you'll see these very, very tiny little black pieces coming out of the scanners. When done, rinse it thoroughly, and alkanox rinses away very cleanly. And then it's recommended that you clean them in an ultrasonic cleaner. So let's put them in a little basket, and then insert them into the ultrasonic cleaner. And again, wash them thoroughly. After we've rinsed them with water, I like to put alcohol on the guides to chase away the water. First, we'll make sure that the little guide there doesn't have any water in it. I like to put pure alcohol over the entire scanner guide surface to make sure there's no water there. And then dry the alcohol with compressed air. And here's another look at the solution after we took the guides out. You can see how dirty the water is. Now here's a little connection I made with a compressed air bottle to the scanner, so I can take a look and see where the bubbles are actually coming off the scanner guides. So if you can see an indication like this, you can actually tell that the air is coming out of all of the holes, and that's what we want to try to achieve. If you have one hole that is not doing anything, that's okay, but if you have two holes that are adjacent, that could be a problem. This is in slow motion, so we can try to see that, yes, indeed, all of the holes have air coming out. So we put it back on the scanner. And here's the tough part here, to get that hose onto the scanner. Here's that longer bolt there. And let's put the other guide into place. And kind of force the guide open a little bit so that it's not pressing against the scanner. And here's the other hose that we have to get into place. And that should be good. Again, make sure the scanner is not leaning in towards the drum, but rather a little bit away from it so that the heads don't hit the scanner guide. Now we put the scanner back into the machine. Plug in your two connections in the back. One is much larger than the other, so you can't get them confused. And then we have that air hose that we have to push into the scanner. And now make sure that when you put the scanner in, it's seated correctly. You have to kind of rotate it and move it into position, and it should be nice and firm when you've done that. And then you've got 3 screws to put in, and then the connector that goes back to the scanner. And you can put that little screw back in if you want, or you can leave it off. And then we have those 3 connectors that we put back on the circuit board. Now we can put the front trim on. And then those two small trim pieces for the actual scanner guides themselves. Don't drop those little screws. And that's it. Thanks for watching.